Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. We are here today with the Total Wellness Tuesday show, going over the top methylating adaptogens. So I want to share with you 5 of my favorites that will go along with the other tips we gave you on how to improve your overall methylation. Now, if you don't know what methylation means, simply head over to stephencabral.com/1719, and I will link up the previous shows on what methylation is, why you need to know about it, and how to go about rebalancing the body. So the quick summary is this: methylation enables you to better deal with stress, inflammation, and also detoxification in the body. And if you're missing any of the methylation factors due to genetic predisposition, toxins in the environment, gut-based issues, etc., those shows will lead you into what you need to do. And then also today, I'm going to provide you with the 5 methylating adaptogens that I use most in my practice that you can actually get from whole food or supplementation, your choice. I always like to give you both. Easy is always supplementation, but then being able to incorporate these foods more into your diet or do both, which is what I do, gives you the best of both worlds. So I want to provide all of that with you today. Just a quick summary though, because I really find that a lot of practitioners are making methylation and the process of rebalancing methylation a lot more complicated than it needs to be. So I'm going to share with you these tips. And again, methylation shows up in kids all the time with autism and learning-based disabilities. It shows up in schizophrenia and low mood and depression and anxiety. It shows up in eating-based disorders such as anorexia. It can show up in detox-based issues, autoimmune issues, inflammatory issues. So really important that we look at this as one of the underlying root causes. Now, when we go about rebalancing the body, again, it doesn't have to be super complicated. You need methylated-based B vitamins. The easiest way to do this, instead of figuring out how much you need of B12, how much you need of folate, is to simply use something like an activated B complex. Because not only does it give you the methylated B12 with methylcobalamin, methylfolate, your B6, which is crucial, and other methylated B vitamins or other B vitamins in general, it's going to provide you with choline, and it's going to provide you with something called trimethylglycine, also called betaine, which is a great methyl-based donor. Now, the nice thing is, of course, you never know how or have to know how any of this works, but by using these things, you provide your body with the nutrients that it needs, meaning the raw material that it needs in order to begin the healing process. Remember, no doctor or practitioner is healing your body. They're helping you put your body in a position to heal. And if a lot of people just say, well, I'll just do it through eating more blueberries. And you know how much I love blueberries. But it's not going to happen just from eating blueberries, no matter how amazing they are, right? So we need to give the body specifically what it needs. And we know that now. We know what it needs through science. Now, will we continue to learn more? Absolutely. Should that stop us from implementing what we do know? No. Let's move forward. Let's do the things that we know heal. So I mentioned the B vitamins, an activated B complex. Honestly, I get it every day in my daily nutritional support, but you can just take 1 or 2 capsules then of an activated B complex, and then you're all set. That literally settles what 99% of the people are going to need. Now, on top of that, make sure you're getting your magnesium in, okay? You might need some calcium along with that, but magnesium is typically the first place to go. Then a CalMag Complete could work. So full spectrum magnesium, so you don't have to worry about which form you absorb the best, right? That's why we do these things, because we've been doing them for so long, we know what most people need. And some people absorb them differently. So full spectrum magnesium, CalMag Complete, especially if you do a hair tissue mineral analysis and you notice you're a little lower on calcium than magnesium, which again, is not a lot of people. It's more like 1 out of 10, but still, it's there for you. And then, of course, once you get balanced, switch over to the CalMag Complete. And then I would highly recommend a zinc copper-based supplement. We have one called Balanced Zinc. It simply gives you the proper ratio of about 12 to 1, 15 to 1 from zinc to copper, because your body needs both in order to methylate properly. So, all right, that's what you can do. I gave you all the foods previously as well to incorporate into your diet. So again, simply head over to stevencabral.com/1719 and you'll get all the previous podcasts. There's just two main ones on methylation. Okay, so now let's move on to those methylating adaptogens. That means adaptogens found in nature, plant-based medicine, that allows you to also support the methylation pathways, which does what? Well, it enables you to better balance inflammation caused by stress, some stress in your body. It allows you to better detox. There's no doubt about that. And what it does is it keeps the body more balanced. So again, someone like myself, predisposed to methylation-based issues, massively predisposed to inflammation. The littlest things used to set me off. There's no doubt about it. My rain barrel would always be teetering on overflowing. Well, again, my mentor, 27 years old, when I met her, she's the one who first introduced me to methylation. So I can thank her, of course. And again, I'm just simply trying to pay it forward to you. I started using methylated B vitamins. I started using a full spectrum magnesium. I started using higher amounts of zinc, and things begin to change quite dramatically, believe it or not. B6, B12, magnesium, zinc, those were big turning points when I started to add those in, and they might seem kind of basic now, but certainly they weren't back in the day. So that's the great thing, is like we continue to learn and we can refine it. Now, she never taught me about these methylating herbal adaptogens, but it's not like she didn't know them. It's just times have changed, more research. And again, I was able to really learn these through traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine as well, especially studying overseas in these clinics. So I want to share with those right now with you, just 5 of them, because these 5, I think that anybody can add in. And they're pretty fantastic as an adjunct to what you're also doing through your functional medicine protocols. So the first one I want to start with is this. Sulforaphane, most people have heard me talk about. Sulforaphane is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, if we're going to look at extracts, superfoods out there. And the reason is that, and again, I'm not claiming to cure any disease or what do we call it? No treating, no curing, no diagnosing disease, right? That's what we allow medical doctors to do. Okay, so here's what we do though. We use, again, these herbs, these plant-based nutrients that we now have seen studied by modern day science to show helping potentially with cancer, with detox capacity. It's unbelievable. Sulforaphane is an ingredient I had added to our daily nutritional support. I don't know really any other product out there that adds sulforaphane daily to your all-in-one. That's why it is a must-have product in my opinion. But sulforaphane also comes from, and I'm going to list the foods for you because I want always your diet to start with whole food. Yes, use supplements, but get the whole foods first. And that's why it's sometimes scary when a lot of people are cutting all of these great plant foods out of their diet and saying they contain plant toxins and all of these things. We have to be careful with what kind of dogma we're following, since and you can go back to my podcast on this, the only anti-cancer diets we know of are plant-based ones, right? I'm not saying you need to be vegan, but you're not going to find red meat as a cure or a treatment or any of these other things for a lot of health conditions, right? They're not studied in that way because they don't. That's just the way that it works. And again, I'm not saying that you can't eat meat, not saying that you can't have fish or eggs or anything that you're not sensitive to, because they contain B vitamins, they contain zinc. So I'm not saying they're bad, but what I am saying is you need to get more of those veggies in there. So sulforaphane is contained in broccoli sprouts or broccoli. And again, something I try to eat every single day is at least a cup or 2 of broccoli. I think it's one of the top foods out there. I don't think there's really too much better if we're talking about hierarchy of foods. Of course, eat a rainbow of colors. Go back to my show too on why a rainbow of colors matters, how you get different nutrients from different foods. But broccoli for sure, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, bok choy, and watercress. If you've never heard of watercress before, I'm going to be talking about it just a little bit later as well. It's one of my favorite natural antihistamine based plants or nutrients. So while I talked to just broccoli, cauliflower, kale, a lot of these Brussels sprouts are cruciferous-based vegetables. And these cruciferous vegetables, many of them contain sulforaphane. And that sulforaphane opens up our methylation pathways. It helps tremendously with detoxification and has been shown to help, again, with children with autism, learning-based issues, detox issues, cancer, etc. So check out the research on those. Again, I'm not making any disease-based claims. Check it out for yourself. Very, very powerful. Whole food supplementation works fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. And again, most of these veggies should be cooked in terms of cruciferous stage. Now, can you eat them raw? Yes. Are they much more difficult to digest? Yes. Can there be issues associated with eating things like raw kale? Yes. So, there's nothing wrong. Again, I have a show on everything. You can go back and check out my show on should you eat cooked, raw, or frozen, based veggies. And I break down the different nutrition in each one of them. And so I don't think we need to get too dogmatic. We can eat some veggies raw, some cooked, and yes, we can have some frozen as well. So check that out. Number one, though, sulforaphane. Number one, again, I'm not ranking these in order, but at least for number one, I would put sulforaphane for sure. Number two is quercetin. I've been using quercetin for well over a decade myself personally. And the reason I started using it, and again, it's not a panacea, but I had debilitating seasonal allergies in the springtime. And I would essentially, and this is no exaggeration, I couldn't leave my house for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. The bad years, it was 3 weeks, and the good years, it was 2 weeks. And that is because I was completely sensitive to my environment around me. Grass, mold, pollen, dust, all of these things would fill up my rain barrel, and I would simply have completely swollen, puffy, red, scratchy eyes to the point where I really couldn't keep them open. It was unbelievable, and I was a sight for sore eyes to say the least. Well, quercetin, being a natural antihistamine, and also providing much of the ability to help with methylation-based issues, which again goes with allergies, asthma, etc., was one of the things that helped me. So was it the only thing? No, but many of the things that I actually formulated in what's called Hist Pro are what I used, along with, of course, the underlying issues, which was fixing my gut. That was a huge part of it. I had to seal up my gut wall. I had to remove the candida, remove the bacterial overgrowth, remove the H. pylori, seal up that gut wall. Then my inflammation, my rain barrel started to decrease. And of course, along with the stinging nettles and the quercetin and the vitamin C and the other things that I use inside of the Hist Pro, that helped me tremendously. So Hist Pro is one of my favorite products. I still continue to use it to this day. And I still ramp it up in the springtime, even though my allergies are, whatever you want to call them, gone, in remission, etc. I know that if I were to fill up that rain barrel, I would continue to have issues. So quercetin's one of my favorites. I also eat an apple a day, right? An apple a day. I hope to continue to keep other doctors away. And so quercetin is found in apples. It's found in onions. And it's found in things like capers as well. And again, anytime you want to find food sources of, again, I've done shows on each one of them, but you can also just go to Google and just type in foods highest in quercetin, and you'll be able to get a vegan list, paleo list, etc. And so all of those I think can be tremendously helpful. Okay, next up on my list is curcumin, or more specifically, the food would be turmeric. Now, none of these are really foods, right? Turmeric is an herb or a root, and what we extract from it is the curcumin. So curcumin is great it can be great for blood sugar levels, certainly great for inflammation. It's being studied for cancer right now, but it helps with methylation as well. So I always combine turmeric and ginger. Like those are two. So I guess ginger is just kind of a bonus one here, but I'm a huge advocate of ginger and turmeric for all the things that I just mentioned: digestion, blood sugar, detoxification. I mean, they're tremendous. So turmeric ginger tea is a fantastic thing to do. You can do that as a post-meal digestive. That's one of my favorite ways to use ginger tea for sure. And if you listen to my show just 2 weeks ago, I think, on the Ayurvedic herbal adaptogens, you could even mix a little Tulsi ginger tea right in there. Super simple. Again, they're just done for you. You just grab a tea bag that's ginger tea or turmeric tea, add some hot water to it, and have a couple cups during the day. It's an easy way to stay hydrated and got more of those herbs in there and works as a great herbal adaptogen. Of course, if you have issues where you may need higher dosages of curcumin, you can certainly supplement with that as well, or add more turmeric to many of your dishes. A couple teaspoons a day will certainly help with those methyl pathways too. All right, luteolin is the next one. Luteolin, if you haven't heard of this, it comes from, well, the one that I first heard about it the most was simply having a glass or a couple glasses or cups of chamomile tea at night. Chamomile tea is, again, when you're drinking a tea, it is a supplement. So a lot of people like to say, well, I don't like to use supplements, but I do have coffee, and yes, I have green tea, and yes, I do herbal tea. Well, all of those are supplements. I mean, that's what they are. You're taking a food, you're taking an extract, and there you go. It's a supplement, right? So, but that's okay. Again, I'm not here to argue about whether, people should take supplements or whole food or whatever it might be. Do whatever you feel is best for you. But I can tell you this, just from being in practice and having done this myself as well, you're going to heal a whole lot faster when you give a weakened digestive system an extract, an easily digestible form of all of these great whole foods. Plus, you can give it at a much larger dose the body needs when it needs that little bit of a heroic push. So, okay, where can you get your chamomile from? So, of course, the easiest way to get it from is chamomile tea. So, I shouldn't say where should you get your chamomile from. Where should you get your luteolin from? And that would be one of them is chamomile tea. Okay, that's easy. You can have a cup or two before bed. Super simple. The only reason you wouldn't do that is just because you have hay fever-based allergies, and you can't handle something like chamomile, which may increase those types of allergies. So it's an interesting one to look at. I guess nightshades would be part of those as well. Besides that, you might say, well, this is a lot of different teas to drink. Well, believe it or not, you can make your own concoction of adding a tea bag of chamomile, a tea bag of turmeric ginger, right to the same cup, and you can put them all in one. It's not like you can't do that. You can. You get to make the rules as well. So, okay, where else can you find luteolin? You'll find it in celery and thyme and green peppers. And those are other things that you can simply add to many of your meals. Thyme is one of those great spices that you can add as a dry spice or not to many dishes, especially like rice bowls or any type of dish that you would like. And thyme is so great for the digestive system too, because it helps keep those gut bugs and like candida at bay. All right, the last one on my list for today is, I've been talking about this quite a bit, and that's because I want to get this information out into the world, and that is rosemary or rosmarinic acid. So rosmarinic acid is an extract from rosemary. We use rosmarinic acid in our mold protocol. I don't know any other protocol that uses rosmarinic acid, but I'll tell you this, it works fantastically well on things like yeast, fungus, mold, and that's why we've been using it now for years in our private practice. So here's the great thing, though. You can get fresh rosemary. We grow it in our garden up in Maine. And you can also get dried rosemary at pretty much any health food store, and you can add it to any of your favorite dishes. Rosemary honestly goes great with any meat-based dish. You can add it to anything really that you would like, and of course, add it to any vegan-based bowl that you're creating. So doing these things, not only do you get all the flavonoids from those, the bioflavonoids, the plant-based antioxidants, so it's great for overall anti-inflammatory based effects, but now you know that these 5 adaptogens that you can use in your everyday life can help to open up those methyl-based pathways. So don't forget about your B vitamins. Oh, well, there's one more I want to add. So a lot of people overlook in general the benefits of green veggies, right? Green veggies are just great to add to your daily diet. I think Michael Pollan, who's a food journalist, said, eat food, not too much, mostly green. And so basically, when you're eating a lot of green veggies, you're able to get a lot of the B vitamins that we spoke about previously. You get some calcium in there as well, some zinc, but you're also getting all of the additional plant-based enzymes and methyl-based donors. Excuse me. So one more green I wanted to add was watercress. Watercress, believe it or not, yes, it contains the sulforaphane. It's a powerful antihistamine that many people could benefit from, whether they are adding it to their smoothies, a salad, or really juices, whatever else that they're drinking. So it's one of those great things I like to be able to bring to you. I use it myself whenever I can, and it's just part of a great overall healthy diet. So remember, sulforaphane, eat your cruciferous vegetables. Quercetin, have an apple, some capers, or use a product like Hispro. Curcumin, you can use it as a supplement, or you can get it, put some couple teaspoons in your meal for a little spice, or have it as a tea. The luteolin you can get with a glass of chamomile tea, so combine your turmeric tea bag with your chamomile tea bag, and there we go. And the last one is rosemary. Rosemary is a great addition to many different meals. Begin to cook with it, experiment with it. Of course, you can even use a supplement called rosmarinic acid, but I don't typically recommend that unless you're going through something like the mold-based protocol, etc. It can be used for a period of 6 to 8 weeks. No problem at all, but then try to get it from whole food after that. Eat your green veggies. They really are good for you, whether you like them or not. And hopefully this was helpful. Again, for all of the links for anything pertinent to this show, head over to stevencabral.com/1719. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. And if this was helpful, please do feel free to pass it along to anyone else you believe it could serve. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stevencabral.com/rainbarrel.